Hey, everybody. Hey, don't fast forward over this part. For real, I got to tell you something. Go to jmohr.com and click the Amazon.com banner and go to Amazon and buy stuff for yourself. That's really what I want for you out of life, is for you to buy things for you. It is helping the podcast a lot. And thank you, thank you, thank you. And tweet me the strange things that you've purchased with photos or it didn't happen.
Put your name on it. Just put your name on it. That's all I say. Be a man or a woman. Put your name on it.
Well, I'd like to hear about it, potheads.
How the fuck you gonna know how to be great if you don't study greatness? Look at the game tape.
I want to work with you a lot.
Oh, yeah!
All right, Bob Saget is our guest on Mohr Stories. Thanks for coming. He said I looked paralyzed in this chair. What if I got paralyzed?
I would, like Captain Pike, you should have a red light and a blue light and a yellow light.
I
You know what
can't
that was?
believe-
You know Captain Pike? You know that's a replacement for, it's a weird story, but Jeffrey Hunter was originally the Captain Kirk, and
Yeah, he
they
was
got rid of him.
Captain Pike.
Right, but they got fired. They fired him, and then had this other guy play Captain Pike. I wasn't Jeffrey Hunter. He didn't say, I'm going to come in, put me in extra makeup in a box and with 3 lights on it because I've been fired. So that was like a really weird thing.
Out of all the things I thought I would talk to Bob Saget about, I didn't think the first thing out of your mouth would be a Captain Pike reference. We got a lot of geeks and nerds and comic book guys and gals that listen to this. World of Warcraft fans and BlizzCon people and that's my wheelhouse because I'm obsessed with Captain Pike.
I am. He had
Jeffrey
3 lights.
Tanner, he died. He fell off a ladder. He had one of those weird
Jeffrey Hunter.
Jeffrey Hunter. Sorry,
Yeah. I was Danny Tanner on Full House.
That's why I got confused.
But the reason this
and then
even
you
came
were
up
in a box with 3 lights.
But that's your Barca Lounger that you're in. You're in a beautiful Barca Lounger.
Thank you.
By a water heater that could blow at any minute.
Yeah, you seem to feel like the Fake Mustache Studios is a treacherous place for your health.
No, I actually like it. Actually, I'm impressed by this thing. I also like that there's a
Canceled open house? That's because it's for this
there's a
house.
canceled open house sign.
It was for this house.
But you kept it.
Yeah, because it was the house that we bought. It was scoreboard, we win, we got the house, so we kept the open house canceled sign.
I threw mine out when I bought the house because I wanted to feel like I'd conquered. But this is conquering. I mean, you have like a...
We also kept the house.
That's a bonus.
That's really the thing.
So why am I not in the house? Why am I in the garage?
There's too much stuff happening. There's a baby, a brand new baby in there. There's a 9-year-old.
Where in there? That's why I saw
He's in a
baby
Skinner
when
box.
I went to use your toilet.
We saw the puppy in a Skinner box. Thank you. I like that you reset that. You're a good man. Saget, we're going to go.
Listen.
This is going to be quite a tennis match today.
It's not going anywhere.
Two guys
I was very happy to see you. The reason this even happened was because we've known each other for a long time.
Oh, jeez.
And then we saw each other at this K-Rock thing for the Wounded
Benefit
Warriors.
for the Wounded Warriors.
And for the Cedar-Sinai Intensive Care.
No, I only did the Wounded Warriors. I wasn't into the Cedar-Sinai.
Well, no, these were some babies that risked their lives in Iraq.
Oh, yeah. I made sure
babies.
All my money I made sure only went to the Wounded Warriors.
It's nice
I don't split it up like that.
I did my jokes for the babies because they're the only ones that truly get my humor.
The babies?
Yeah, because otherwise people cut me off at about 1.
Captain Pike was the first before Captain Kirk was on Star Trek, and the
pilot was a 2-parter.
It was incredible, and the alien guys with the huge heads could read your mind, so you couldn't plot against them.
Not even bad makeup for a really crappy time.
It was pretty interesting and fascinating.
It was kind of like Gary Oldman's Dracula big head makeup.
Dracula.
I was there. We were shooting Full House while he was doing Dracula.
Oh my God!
So, and they didn't use him one day, and he had a 4-inch tall cranium, and he was really pissed, and he ripped it off, and he ripped some of his skin because they didn't use him. Put that makeup on all day.
That's got to be weird when Dave Coulier and Gary Oldman as Dracula just bump into each other at the commissary.
I just think
he goes, hey, give a pie. And Gary Oldman's like, well, at least, Gary Oldman wishes he could.
Whoa!
Gary Oldman wishes he could land on a sitcom and work 6 hours a day instead of getting 8-foot fucking forehead put on to be Dracula.
I don't think so. I think Dracula was. Well, that was after he'd done the Professional, which was. Wasn't he in The Professional? Or was that Jean Reno?
That was Jean Reno. Same thing.
Same name, kind of.
But listen, Captain Pike.
Same person, basically.
It is the same person. Captain Pike, the alien guys could read your mind, but they figured out halfway through the pilot episode, Captain Pike figured out they couldn't read your mind if you were enraged or if you had lust. So if they wanted to make plans...
By the way, that is a cock block for life. Those two things do keep me from any psychic ability. If I'm lustful or angry, I have ruined my chance of sex or closeness.
So if you go to a psychic...
Not with you, but...
If you go to the Psychic Eye bookshop in the Valley and sit down with one of their psychics...
Is that near the Samuel French?
Yes, and you sit about a mile west of that. That's by...
He was on Family Affair, Samuel French.
He was. Samuel French was. I think you're thinking of Daniel French, but I'll keep going.
Mr. French. That was Sebastian Cabot.
No, it was Daniel French.
No,
if you sit down, don't listen to me. I'm just trying to keep up with you with nonsense. If you sat down with the Psychic Eye,
I'm worried about the water heater. It's got a yellow limiter.
It's not even turned on. That's why we're in L.A.
All
If
right.
you sit down with the psychic and you just sit down immediately and just start making out with her and saying, "You fucking asshole, you're telling me she can't get a read on you," just like Captain Pike.
Yeah, I don't think she'd let my tongue in her mouth. The moment I
you got to force that shit, dude.
Force it?
Yeah, I mean that's
psychic.
Yes, she knows it's coming.
I don't think. Yes, you know.
That was a layup. That was easy.
Somebody did that. I heard somebody say that the other day, or they were twittering. I think it was Joe Buck. I was looking at his Twitter, and he said that the psychic knows already. Isn't that funny that I would even use Twitter as a reference, but it's part of my input?
Well, I was looking at your Twitter account this morning, and I would like to know:
times
were you
did you orgasm?
Once. I'm only good for one. Once you hit 40, it's like, what? We
40
did it already.
a day is a lot.
No, 40 years old, Bob.
Oh.
So Captain Pike, did he not?
I'm older than that.
Did he not test well? Why did they replace him with Shatner?
I'd like to think show business sucks, right? So he was either difficult.
What are you talking about?
I mean, it's great. We're in your fucking garage. By
Everything
a water
about
heater.
it is appealing.
What? Everything the traffic will allow. What traffic? Times Square is crowded. I guess that's what they mean. They must mean
Broadway,
right?
Drowsy Chaperone.
I was in that.
That's why I said
You
it.
did Broadway.
Huh?
Didn't you do Broadway?
No, I'm terrified.
You would be good in one of those shows where you get real serious and you're like the goon that comes in and everybody's scared you're going to kill somebody.
I think I could only do Broadway if I wrote it myself and it was just all about me, because I like talking about me, which is why I have a podcast.
Do a one-man show like Colin Quinn.
But Quinn sat where you're sitting and basically was like, "No, it's not a big deal. 9 months." And I'm like, "Well, you've made it." And he's like, "No, not really." And like he totally downplayed the whole experience. But the Drowsy Chaperone, Bob Saget,
I jumped onto a moving train that Bob Martin already started.
Which I will say this in your defense: you moved onto a moving train that was on its way into the shed. I don't want people to think that you did it and the show went under. You are a closer.
I actually ran into Nathan Lane, and he said, "Congratulations," because I was doing really well, and the reviews were about to come out, and then they went on an 18-day Broadway strike. That didn't help my appearance in it.
No.
But it was an amazing experience. I did like 75 of them, I guess.
Really?
No, maybe more.
And that was an enormous theater. That
1,600, like second biggest theater, the Marquee in Broadway, second biggest theater there. I think it's the biggest one is where they had Wicked.
How many seats is that?
1,600 people.
Oh, you just said that, didn't you?
I did. It doesn't matter. But they put, but handicapped like Captain Pike, if he came to it, they'd give him his own area.
It's like 800 seats only.
Yeah, because you couldn't see him in there, but I bet he had a big ass.
Captain Pike.
Yeah. But Jeffrey Hunter was not Captain Pike because they fired him. I think they either fired him or he got sick. Maybe he unfortunately
fell off. He was drunk. He fell off a ladder because he had such a big ass. That's how he died.
Is that what you think happened?
He actually died by falling off a ladder. Did you know that?
Buoy.
Yeah, like William Holden fell down at a hotel and hit his head on a coffee table.
Well, he drowned in a bathtub, I thought.
No, he hit his head on the coffee table.
Yeah, I want to know how I remember when he died?
You think you're Samuel French.
He was great in the Cliff Notes of Family Affair. Do you want to? Here's a story. The comedian George Wallace.
I like stories.
Crazy World. When William Holden died, the day he died, I was living in Hollywood, and George Wallace. It's a long story. You just checked your watch.
No, I want to see.
I was checking to see. You're not the first person that looked at their watch.
I was checking to see when we started to make sure you were out of here when you needed to be out of here.
I'm good. I came a little bit early.
Okay,
I
that's all.
To use your toilet. And
two jobs you can't look at your watch: prostitute and comic. It's really the two jobs where if the audience catches you looking at your watch, they go, "This sucks."
I've never been with a prostitute that I know of.
I saw you with John Stamos, so by proxy,
he looks a little like Joyce DeWitt.
He does look like Joyce DeWitt.
Yeah. But
John Stamos says he's a vegetarian, which that can't be true because he's full of baloney. I don't know how you don't get that one there.
I love that guy.
All right, George Wallace.
That was really funny at the show.
Incredible. We got a whole bunch of questions for you about the
Okay, so
roast.
George Wallace, William Holden dies. George Wallace says, Saget, why don't you come over and cook me some chicken? So I'm like 20, exactly. I'm like 23 years old and living in Hollywood, or maybe 24. And I went, okay, George, you're one of my friends. I'll cook you chicken. And then I call him up and I go, where are you? And it was the day William Holden died. And I started getting worried that something happened to him because I'm a moron and I was being neurotic. And I called him up and he said, I called his manager's building. And I called the manager's office and he said, George is opening for Tom Jones in Tahoe. So I called Tahoe and George Wallace goes, I told you I was in Tahoe. You don't fucking listen. That's the story. That is the day William Holden died.
Oh, okay. I was like, how did that tie into William Holden?
Doesn't tie into anything or hold or in. And what you can do is, if you cut that out, I will give you $10,000.
Will you really?
No.
No, you will not.
I'll give you the Captain Pike sauna box. He was like in a sauna box.
Yes.
That's what he was in.
But why do you think they wrote,
And it was made of plywood. It was the shittiest prop. And it was a two-parter. They aired the pilot because they couldn't afford not to. It must have been $1 million pilot back in that day.
In the 60s.
A gigantic-looking thing. And it made the show.
And it was fascinating, like, when they had to hatch, Captain Pike and the girl had to hatch their plan to escape. When they were just thinking about it, the aliens could read their minds. So he would grab the chick and make out.
Attractive, I remember.
Very. And they would make out, and as they were making out, he would mumble into her mouth what the plan was, and the aliens couldn't read their minds because he had a boner making out with the chick.
You know what he's probably saying to her? I can't wait to get fucking fired off of this show. This place sucks.
One day, I'm going to do T.J. Hooker instead.
He died, though. Jeffrey Hunter died.
I think he meant T.J. Hooker.
Badly.
I was like,
No, he wasn't on T.J.
T.J.
But that was, because that was William Shatner's show.
Thank you.
You know?
You got to expect the
It's
ball.
just
You're
hard.
a Temple graduate. I expect you.
I was an owl.
I
lived at home, so you know how accelerated I was.
You were just like Bill Cosby. You were a Temple owl.
He didn't graduate, apparently.
Really?
Yeah, but he got a
Do you
doctorate.
think that's because he was
Because
so talented, he didn't have to.
I graduated.
You did.
I did, and I got a film thing.
You actually won an Academy Award.
Student Academy Award for the I did the Captain Pike story.
You want me to take that part out?
No, leave that in.
You won
I
a
like the
Student
humble,
Academy
I like the
Award.
truth.
You won a Student Academy Award for the
Student
short
Academy
film
Merit Award. I'll take it down another notch.
Through Adam's Eyes.
Yes.
Was the name of your film that you did at Temple University.
You know, the fact that you Googled me scares me a little bit.
Why? I mean, that's something people don't know. People know things about you you are the most unknown surface guy. Like I listened to your surface about not you being a surface guy. What people know about you is just the surface of the lake. They have no idea. I know.
You have a guest on it, you go.
You are the most surface guy.
No depth
they have
to
no.
you.
It's like looking at a lake and not realizing all the fish underneath the surface. That's
You're not even penetrable. Fish don't even want to talk to you.
No, fish. That's the thing about.
When I look at you, there's nothing there. There's no reflection in the mirror.
The scouting report on Bob Saget is fish don't talk to him. Hits the curveball.
You know, I have an apology to make. I accidentally peed on your kid's carpet.
Oh, I don't mind.
He was in there.
I don't mind.
I didn't make eye contact.
Then it's not gay. If you pee on someone and don't make eye contact, it's not gay.
Ask me what my favorite fish is.
Bob, what's your favorite fish?
Pike.
Oh, my God. Showbiz. All right. Let's go back to the Drowsy Chaperone.
The Student Academy Award was about a little boy that had his face reconstructed. It was an 11-minute documentary.
Was it a real documentary?
It
like
was
you went and interviewed this kid?
It was about my nephew.
Really?
Who underwent stuff.
Was his name actually Adam?
Cool guy, yeah.
Okay.
And he's 41 now and really healthy and had a really cool experience. It was actually the beginning of this thing. Some people are born with this thing called Treacher-Collins syndrome where there's a deficiency of bone. So they took ribs out and were able to rebuild his face a little bit.
Is he missing ribs now?
He is, but I think they grow back.
You should do another documentary about
through
people
Adam's
that are
ass, where they take the ribs out of your ass.
And it's a charity for people that are missing ribs.
Out of their ass.
And then how do you replace the rib with what bone?
McDonald's.
There you go.
McRib.
The McRib. Little tiny ribs. You just make like a little suspension bridge across the rib cage with many, many McRibs.
You could do it. You could get little people like Gulliver to walk across that open wound. I had my appendix out once, and I had an open wound. I stuffed it with gauze.
You didn't stuff it with gauze.
Yeah,
you almost died when you had your appendix out.
That's true. I didn't know you then. You were 10.
No, but I've read more about you than anybody. People
Why
think
did you do this? I'm so
because you're a
creeped out
guest
right
on
now.
the podcast, and there's a lot of stuff about you that's fascinating. Like people don't know you went to Temple, and when you were young, like in your, I'm being serious, Temple University,
Right.
as well as Temple,
As well as the
a
synagogue
shul.
not far from here.
Yeah, and the thing with you is
I opened it and closed it.
Yeah,
I'm one of the few people that closes Broadway shows and synagogues.
you can't close a synagogue, man. You just can't. They just
If you
keep
don't
churning
give
along.
to the fund, you got to give to the fund.
The building fund.
Yeah, they want
Every
to
church has a damn building
reconstruction